I ask questions all the time. I'm always wanting to know why. How does something work? What makes it tick? I love to be outside. I was very inquisitive, I still am, and it's super fun. Hi, I'm Denise Hardesty. I'm a research scientist for CSIRO, and I work on marine debris. We've been asking questions all around Australia and also internationally. We're asking how much trash gets out there on our coastline, where does it come from, what are the impacts on wildlife, and importantly, what can we do to stop that debris or litter from going from land out into the ocean? One of the things that's critically important in the work that we're doing is really identifying what's the effect of this plastic, of this litter that's lost in the environment. What's the effect on the wildlife? What's the effect on sea turtles, on seabirds? What's the effect on cetaceans, whales, and dolphins? Are animals getting tangled up in the trash and the litter and the fishing line? Are they mistaking it for food and eating it? Those are some of the key questions that we're asking of the data that we're collecting. Basically, we go out and we survey from the waterline up into the backshore vegetation. And we do that because we're going to find different types of things, different amounts and sizes of items down near the water where we might find small things versus way back up in the vegetation where that trash or litter can be trapped. So what we do on our transects is we have two people walking either side of a meter tape so that we know exactly how far we go. One person looks at 1 meter of ground, the other person looks at the other meter of ground. And so it's a 2 meter wide swath down from the shoreline up into the backshore vegetation. There can be a lot of local variation between areas, and to be able to capture that and to understand that, we need to have at least 3 replicates. And the reason we have 3 replicates is we can actually do some statistical analyses with that, and we can look at the differences there. So that minimum number of 3 is really critical. We have a size chart, and we actually record the size of 10 different items that are found along the transect. So we've surveyed almost 200 different sites around the entire country, and we've carried out those surveys about every 100 kilometers around the entire coastline. It's a lot of surveys, and it's more than 600 different transects at those different survey sites. There's a couple parts of the Australian continent that we just simply were not able to survey. One was in the very top end at the Gulf of Carpentaria, and that's because there really are no roads or way to get there. And the other place is across the Nullarbor in the south. And frankly, there are some areas that just weren't safe, just weren't accessible, that even by boat we couldn't get in there to survey those sites. But importantly, because we've surveyed all the other areas, we can use our models to make projections and predictions of how much debris would be in those unsurveyed areas. And that's a really critical piece.
GIS stands for Geographic Information System, and that is basically a computer system that's used to store, analyse and most importantly visualise data that's related to a position on the Earth's surface. GIS was really important in this project. At each of the sites we got GPS location for our site access. We also got GPS locations for our start and end of each transect. And we use that to have a look at a distance to the closest roads, the population within 5, 10, 25 and 50 kilometres of that point, so we could analyse the effect of population on the amount of rubbish at a beach. We had a look at the closest train station as a proxy for access to the beach. We sampled every 100 kilometres. And we did this because that gives us a random stratified approach to our sampling. We didn't want any bias in there. We didn't know what was there. We picked a starting point and we just did it 100 kilometres. Regardless of what was there, we went there. At each site we took a GPS location. I put that into a GIS and created this map, and it shows all of our survey sites around the coast where we could get to at 100 kilometres apart.
My job is basically to turn data into understanding. And if you think about it, data is just numbers. It's not information. Information is actually the understanding of the patterns in that data. And that's my job. What we're really trying to understand is how much waste is on Australia's coast. So we measured that at a whole bunch of places, but really that just gives you numbers at spots along the coast. And for people to visualize that, we tried to turn that data into essentially a map. And the best way to think about that, I think, was to make a picture like a ribbon plot. So how bright the ribbon is along the coast of Australia tells you how much debris is there. Someone should be able to look at a picture and immediately understand what you're talking about without any words or numbers on that page. You can think about box plots in that way. So it's quite clear, a box plot, if one box is higher than the other, that's a difference. And so you need some labels to understand a difference in what. But that's the basic idea. You want people to immediately understand that. I use angles and geometry. I use what's called vector addition, which is if you've got something going this way and something going this way and you add them together, that tells you that the joint product goes this way. So if you want to think about wind, for instance, pushing things, that's how you work out where the thing would go from those trajectories. So all the tools that you're learning at the moment, I see every day in my work.
One of the things I love about science and one of the things I love about the job is that I'm always learning. My math skills are getting better, my skills of observation are getting better. The thing that I'm better at than anything is it being wrong. Carrying out science and asking questions means being wrong, taking risks, figuring things out. You're always sorting and figuring things out in lots of different ways. So it's a really dynamic area. We're asking lots of different questions and we make a lot of mistakes, but that's what keeps it interesting as well. We all use math all day long, every day, in all these ways that we're not even thinking about. Gaining math skills now will serve you so well, not only now, in the future, and it becomes an unconscious part of your life in, being able to do things in a coordinated and effective way.